February 1959. The northern Ural Mountains in the Soviet Union. A place where the wind screams louder than any human voice. In the dead of night, 9 young hikers wake up in their tent. Something is happening outside. Something terrifying. They are experienced mountaineers. They know that going out into the snow without shoes means certain death. But the fear inside that tent is so great, so overwhelming that they don't even unzip the door. Instead, they grab their knives and slash the tent open from the inside. They run out into the pitch-black darkness, into -30-degree weather. Wearing only their socks and underwear, none of them will survive the night. When their bodies are found weeks later, the Soviet investigators are baffled. They close the case with one chilling sentence: they were killed by an unknown compelling force. What happened on that mountain? This is part 1 of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. Oh, understand the horror, we must meet the victims. They were not amateurs. They were elite hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Their leader was Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. He was tough, smart, and respected. He assembled a dream team of 8 men and 2 women for a grade 3 hike, the most difficult classification at the time. The journey began happily. We know this because they brought cameras and diaries. The photos show them laughing, playing the mandolin, and hugging each other. They looked invincible. But there was a 10th hiker. His name was Yuri Yudin. 2 days into the trip, Yuri's chronic back pain flared up. He couldn't continue. He had to turn back. There's a famous photo of Yuri hugging Igor Dyatlov goodbye. Yuri looked sad, felt like he was missing out on the adventure of a lifetime. He handed his favorite teddy bear to the group as a mascot, waved goodbye, and watched his 9 friends disappear into the white snow. He didn't know it yet, but his back pain had just saved his life. He would be the only one to ever come home. The remaining 9 hikers marched on, but as they climbed higher, the atmosphere changed. They were heading towards a peak called Kholat Syakhl. In the language of the local indigenous people, the Mansi tribe, this name has a dark meaning. It translates to the dead mountain. There is a local legend that says 9 Mansi hunters died on that same peak years ago. The number 9 was considered cursed. The hikers ignored the superstitions. They were men of science. On February 1st, late in the afternoon, the weather worsened. A blizzard began to blind them. Igor Dyatlov made a decision. Instead of going down to the forest where it was safe, they would set up camp right there on the exposed slope of the mountain. It was a bold move to practice their survival skills. They pitched their large tent, ate a cold dinner of crackers and ham, and went to sleep. According to their diaries, the mood was still calm. The last entry was about something trivial, a joke about politics. Then the diaries stopped. Weeks passed. The group was supposed to send a telegram on February 12th, but the date came and went. Silence. Families began to panic. The university organized a massive rescue operation. Planes, helicopters, and army volunteers scoured the mountains. Finally, on February 26th, a rescue pilot spotted a small dot of color in the endless white snow. It was the tent. When the search team arrived at the site, they felt a cold dread. The tent was half collapsed and covered in snow, but it was empty. Inside, they found everything: boots, heavy jackets, cameras, money, and food. All left behind. Why would 9 people leave their warm clothes and boots in the middle of a freezing blizzard? Then, the investigators found the cut. The fabric of the tent had been slashed with a knife. Forensic analysis proved that the cuts were made from the inside. This changed everything. It meant the threat wasn't someone trying to get in. It was something inside, or the fear of something outside, that made them need to get out instantly. They didn't even have time to undo the buttons of the door. The rescue team followed a trail of footprints leading down the slope, towards the forest edge. The footprints told a sad story. Some were wearing only one sock, some were barefoot. They were walking calmly at first, then they scattered. About 1.5 kilometers away, under a large old cedar tree, the team found the remains of a small fire. The branches were charred, and there they found the first 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko. They were lying side by side in the snow, frozen solid. But their condition was shocking. They were stripped down to their underwear. Their hands were scraped and bloody with skin torn off. The rescuers looked up at the cedar tree and saw that branches were broken up to 5 meters high. Forensics suggested that in their final moments, these two men were frantically climbing the tree. What were they doing? Were they trying to get away from a predator on the ground? Or were they climbing high to look back at the tent, to see if the thing was still there? The rescuers looked around. 2 bodies were found. But where were the other 7? They continued digging in the snow. What they found next would turn this tragedy into a nightmare. Broken ribs, missing eyes, and skin that had turned orange. The mystery was just beginning.